Good afternoon and welcome to National Tile Day and our live webinar 2021 Tile Trends. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items. This program is CEU accredited by AIA and NKBA. Please check the screen for a link to the online form you need to submit to receive your credits or request a certificate of participation. For additional questions or information, please feel free to contact us at conference@coverings.com. All attendees are in listen-only mode. You can submit text questions to today's panel by typing your questions into the question section of the control panel. We will share with the moderator during the Q&A at the end. If you're having problems connecting or any other issues, often closing the window and starting a new window will fix the problem. If you're having problems with your computer audio, call the number on your invitation to listen via the phone. Please also make sure to visit the website today for other great live webinars scheduled throughout the day, along with lots of updated on-demand content. A virtual tile trivia happy hour will happen later this afternoon, and we have other exciting features, all in celebration of National Tile Day. I'd now like to introduce our moderator, Elena Capra, covering spokesperson and owner, Elena Capra Design. Welcome, Elena.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our 2021 Tile Trends presentation. I am Elena Capra, Coverings Industry Ambassador, as well as the owner of Elena Capra Designs. And the panelists and I are thrilled today to be with you on National Tile Day to celebrate this wonderful and versatile material that we all love. And as a reminder, Coverings is a registered provider of AIA approved continuing education, and you can earn 1 AIA credit by attending this webinar, as well as NKBA CEUs. And please visit coverings.com/connected for more information. So as a reminder, again, we have a great panel of Kristen Coleman from Novita, Ryan Passan with Tile of Spain, and Roxanne Morris with the Tile Council of North America, and we are going to hear more from them in just a bit. It is always exciting and refreshing to see what a new year brings in way of tile trends, especially after the year that we all just experienced. And from high gloss and intricate veining to gorgeous greens and soft textures, the year's most important tile trends are primed for several residential and commercial applications, and many focus on wellness in design. And of course, the tile trends presented today were provided by Ceramics of Italy, the Tile Council of North America, and Tile of Spain, 3 of the 5 owners of Coverings. And once we've reviewed all of the tile trends, our panelists are each going to present a great case study to further illustrate the trend as we take a deeper dive into a project application of it. But first, given that today is National Tile Day, I would be remiss if I didn't address why ceramic tile is such a great material to use before we jump into the 2021 trends. So we're going to start with our why tile messaging here. And our first one is tile is natural and sustainable. Tile is a natural and environmentally friendly material, given that ceramic tile is a fired mixture of naturally occurring materials. It's inherently green and an important part of sustainable construction. And a fun fact, it offers the lowest carbon footprint of any flooring choice, and anything we could do towards helping the environment is always a good thing, and of course adds up to big change for us all. Ceramic tile is healthy and safe. Now more than ever, health, safety, and wellness is at the top of everyone's mind, which makes tile such an excellent choice as a building material. Ceramic tile is hypoallergenic, doesn't support the growth of mold, fungi, and bacteria that are known to cause a variety of health problems. And of course, ceramic tile provides the best indoor air quality and has no VOCs or toxic chemicals, none at all. And of course, you cannot beat that. As far as safety is concerned, ceramic tile stands out among flooring options because the variety of slip-resistant options, plus tile is non-flammable, doesn't burn, doesn't give off toxic fumes, and of course, when exposed to heat or flame, doesn't contribute to the spread of flame as well. Ceramic tile offers a little style for all and something for every design style and project. And of course, what you're about to see as we dive into the 2021 trends, you'll see that ceramic tile provides a limitless palette of textures and colors, shapes, and styles. And of course, you can create custom expressions with tile, and it's great for not just floors, but walls, horizontal, vertical, curved, flat surfaces, you name it. Tile can cover just about anything, and of course, beautiful at that as well. And with ceramic tile, you have a design option that says quality and value like no other. And of course, tile is durable and great for wet areas as well. As we're looking at here, outdoors and indoors, ceramic tile surface is resistant to weathering and of course not affected by water or UV rays. And homeowners don't have to worry about water seeping through and ruining the floors. The ceramic tile creates a waterproof application when properly installed, and it's perfect for moisture-prone applications such as bathrooms, mudrooms, countertops, any surface area, and of course, my favorite as a Floridian, swimming pools. So our next one is, of course, tile is cost effective. Ceramic tile is cost effective and easy to maintain. And as you can see from this chart here, ceramic tile costs less per year than any other floor finish. And of course, the building life at just 33 cents per square foot per year. That's over $1 less than sheet vinyl. And not only does tile add value to a building, it's also quite cost effective and easy to maintain. Unlike other organic materials, of course, ceramic tile requires little maintenance to keep up and to keep in top condition. Doesn't easily scratch, scuff, tear, dent, puncture, or gouge. And of course, a stain-resistant surface, ceramic tile, is the perfect solution for pet owners, parents, and anyone who's baking banana bread during this time to tackle those everyday spills and messes in a residential or commercial environment. And lastly, ceramic tile is rich in heritage, as you can see in these beautiful photos. As one of the most long-standing design elements, ceramic tile has been used since ancient times, and archaeologists continue to find tile dating back thousands of years through excavations throughout the globe. Of course, styles dating as far back as 8th century in Spain and the 15th century in Italy continue to be carried out into modern finishes. Ceramic tile provides beauty that is both timeless and connects any space to a rich heritage. So now we are going to jump into the fun stuff. It's National Tile Day. We want to see what's coming up for 2021, and we have narrowed it down to 10 great trends. So what you see here on your screen are the 10 categories that we are going to be discussing, starting with Flecked Effect. So this is one of my favorite trends. Of course, we have so many shapes, patterns, textures, and colors available in this particular look. We've got, it's like terrazzo look, but a little bit refashioned. We've got a lot of playful color, neutrals, and as well as a different variety of these flecks. You've got smaller specks, chunkier specks, and a great look for any type of application. And of course, there's so many unique and diverse ways to display this. We're seeing it in outdoors and indoors as well, and on just about any surface. So it's just a really fun look and a great style. Our next trend is going to be gorgeous greens. Of course, more time spent indoors really left us longing for a connection to nature, and bringing in tile in a variety of beautiful green tones from sages to mint to, of course, more saturated hues like emerald, like you see here, in a variety of everything from more veiny marble looks, as you see in this one photo, to stuff that's a little bit more here like oxidized metal look like you're seeing here, and everything in between. Really, I think this green trend, of course, could be very soothing, and it could also be very bold in those deep saturated hues, and a great color to introduce into any project through the use of beautiful tile. Now, our next trend are soft textures. With a growing preference for more toned down designs, we are seeing the 3D tile that we've seen a lot of over the last few years really take on a sort of a new look, something a little bit softer, a little bit lighter, with these more strié type of looks and everything that is just giving a beautiful canvas to more serene environments. And we're seeing, again, neutral tones such as these here, and of course with some more color and brighter tonality as well. But the feel is very soft, very subtle textures on beautiful porcelain tile in a variety of colors as well. Our next trend is going to be the high gloss trend. Glossy tiles are making a comeback. They're beautiful. And of course, really these reflective surfaces really pop and add anything to just about any type of application and project. From backsplashes to shower walls to flooring and everything in between. High gloss tiles definitely offer a way to add eye-catching flair and durability to just about any project. And again, here we're seeing them in neutral tones and of course more saturated colors as well. And you're going to notice that as we go through these trends, we definitely are going to see a repetition of some trends kind of go together. So we just talked about green being a very popular new color for 2021 in tile. You're seeing that here as well in the high gloss, and of course more of this sort of dark teal aqua as well, in addition to the always beautiful neutrals. Our next trend is the in vein trend. Now, of course, in this particular trend, it is all about, we've seen tile getting larger in scale over the years. And of course, to go with that on these marble looks is the vein scale also getting a little bit larger as well. So everything on this sort of white ground with the gray veining, we're seeing more striking vein looks as well in the marble look designs, and some of them are more river-like veining, and then of course we're seeing more angular frenetic looks such as over here in this particular picture. So you could see it's a mix. You've got those softer veins, the stronger veining, again everything in between, but this is definitely a trend we're going to be seeing a lot of going forward into 2021, and a beautiful one at that. Our next trend is double XL, and of course, extra large ceramic tiles are growing in popularity, and that's for good reason. I mean, they're elegant, they're durable, they're beautiful, and the large format porcelain tiles come in a variety of sizes. So from 5¼ to 10½ feet in size, and thicknesses that range from 3½ millimeters to 2 cm. That enables for countless applications and design possibilities. So on the thinner side of the spectrum, great for flooring and walls and backsplashes and cladding, just about anything. And then of course in the thicker material, great for countertop applications, beautiful and seamless looks, and of course a great durable choice as well for those counters. Now our next trend, biophilia. If in the last year we have heard a lot about this particular trend in design, and humans, as humans, we possess an innate tendency to want to connect with nature, and that's what biophilia is all about. But it's more than just a philosophy. Biophilic design has been found to support cognitive function, physical health, psychological well-being, and ceramic tile is the perfect medium to support this design. And thanks to the incredible advancements in high definition printing, everything appears more lifelike, from the wood porcelains to everything else in between. And we are definitely seeing a more natural look and untreated looks on the wood porcelain, and of course lots of grain. And here's just another example of ways that tile is bringing in the biophilic design trend. And again, wellness in design and the biophilia is just very, very popular right now and will continue well into 2021. Our next trend is large hexes. Okay, in recent years, we've seen ceramic growing to monumental sizes, and of course, the same is happening in non-rectangular shapes like the hexagon. Of course, the hexagon shape has been trending heavily over the last few years, but it's continuously evolving just like everything else. And of course, in this larger scale, all the way up to almost 2 feet in diameter, some of them. So really grand, large scale, which means less grout lines. So a great choice for just about any design. And of course, as you see, great for flooring. And as I mentioned earlier, the overlapping of trends that you'll see, the in vein trend, very much here in this large hex trend in these photos. And of course, a beautiful look. I absolutely love this look. Our next one coming up is the pattern tile concrete looks. So concrete is definitely a building material that's allowed creative architectural expressions really since ancient times, and it's long admired for its strength and beauty. And of course, you're seeing concrete serve as a muse for architects as well as manufacturers, and playful patterns and infinite laying schemes of these porcelain tiles create dramatic impact on just about any space. I mean, beautiful flooring opportunities, great for accent walls as well. Here's the green color we just talked about earlier, being is a trend that we are continuing to see. And now for our final trend, we are again bringing in the same muted palette of color, beautiful muted tones. Definitely an underlying theme of physical and mental wellness is emerging. And we are going to be seeing a lot of this. Super saturated colors are still very popular in some of the accent tiles, but we're seeing this trend of a rise of soft blues and greens, and to create soothing spaces. It's all about creating that soothing environment. And with these color tones on tile, you could definitely do that, bringing harmony and tranquility. And in these turbulent times, spaces designed with the toned down muted hues really, I think, just enhance that tranquility. And so these are just a few more where you could see we even have some blush pink in there, the really soft, almost minty greens, and just really light tones. Again, in a variety of shapes and different colors that all bring about that nice palette. And so there you have it. These are the top 10 tile trends of 2021. And we have a great variety of trends, and you can expect to see all of that and more at Coverings 2021, which will be July 7th through 9th in Orlando in the North Hall of the Orange County Convention Center. And of course, complimentary registration is open on the coverings.com website now. And so I would now like to turn the mic over to Roxanne Morris with the Tile Council of North America, who will present a case study on the in vein trend. Roxanne, take it away.
All right, hi everyone. Thanks, Elena. I'm glad to be here. The trend I'm going to go a little bit deeper into is the in vein, just like Elena said. These are large-scale veining designs that take advantage and accentuate the size of the tile manufacturers are able to produce today. We've seen the veining in these marble looks trending in two general directions. Some of them, like the one you see here, is with the fewer larger veins. It's commonly gray veining on white background. And then on the other end of the spectrum, there are some with the more angular, high contrast patterns. The overarching commonality, though, is that the large-scale veining patterns can go on and on without interruption. So these vast tile sizes allow for this really dramatic, magnified veining. It's really something you can only achieve on such a large tile. You can see inset on this one that these tiles are going up floor to ceiling. Advances in porcelain tile manufacturing have resulted in extremely large and thin tiles, as thin as 1/8 of an inch and as large as 10 by 15 feet. And tiles this large with these oversized veining patterns give a striking appearance of huge swaths of gorgeous marble or stone without the expense or the sustainability concerns that you would have with sourcing natural stone in the same sizes. Color-wise, outside of the black and the white and the neutral spectrum, the most popular shades for these new tile designs have been greens this year, and that holds true for these very large-scale stone designs. Whether in a commercial or residential setting, these designs create such a grand impact. And we expect to see them more and more widely used in residential settings, especially kitchen and bath settings, including countertop and other furniture applications. One of the reasons we see this trend taking off this year is because of an update to the International Building Code, which gives designers flexibility to use larger exterior adhered porcelain tiles. The update allows the use of porcelain tiles as large as 4 by 4 feet or 3 by 6 feet on building facades. Prior to the update, the IBC limited adhered porcelain tile to a maximum of 24 inches on one side and 3 square feet per tile. So in common tile sizes that have been 1 by 2 foot tile. If you're interested in more specifics of this update, there's a PDF available in the handouts tab, which explains a little bit more. To give you an example size-wise, on the left here is a 1 by 2 foot tile. It's a beautiful application for sure, but for comparison's sake, you can see the veining patterns can only go so far on each tile, whereas on the right-hand example, they can just go on for days. With the building code update, designers, building owners, construction professionals, they'll have more flexibility to select tile as an alternative to precast concrete or metal panels and other materials for building exteriors. And with the porcelain printing capabilities the way they are today, this is virtually endless possibilities for designs. You can include, for instance, corporate branding or an art piece directly on the side of your building. To show you a specific example of this exterior application, I'm going to talk about one Miami Beach project in particular by Kobe Karp Architecture. This is their Bojwani Tower project. And their objective with this project was to update the building's exterior while adhering to both stringent building codes and requirements that they had from the Miami Beach Historic Preservation Board. The surfacing solution that they chose was this 3/8 of an inch porcelain panel over a honeycomb cladding system. And it was chosen for a handful of reasons, excuse me, including its proven performance during testing for extreme weather conditions. Miami Beach is, after all, a high velocity hurricane zone. From a budget standpoint, by using the porcelain panels instead of heavier marble on the tower, they saved the client $150,000, which was a huge win. While it looks just like marble, it brings the durability benefits of ceramic and porcelain. It's significantly lighter also, and it better withstands the structural integrity of the tower. Installation was done by Carolina Correa with Stoneworks USA. With a normal size stone panel, they'd have needed a 5-man crew for this job, but with these porcelain panels, they were able to use a 3-person crew and complete twice the square footage each day. The panels are light enough to be handled by fewer workers. If the architects had specified natural stone, the project team would have had more time-consuming challenges and safety issues, but with the porcelain, this 3-man crew was able to lift the tiles through scaffolding and put them safely in place. This is an important note for the Bojwani project because of its location. It's on a busy street corner in the heart of Miami Beach's tourist district. So it operates as a mixed-use building with residential and retail areas on a busy pedestrian intersection and was able to keep operating during construction. Beyond the benefits of installation efficiencies, these porcelain panels achieve the owner's aesthetic goal of a classic and timeless look. They're also more consistent in appearance than other materials would have been, such as a natural stone. They're also innately resistant to UV rays, and to staining and to scratching or any abrasions. So they'll retain their beauty over time. Also, the panels are eco-friendly as the body of the tiles is comprised of naturally occurring raw materials and doesn't release toxins into the environment. So all in all, they were the right style, they had the right performance, and they were right for the environment. Hence the reasons they were chosen. If there's any questions, let me know and I'll be happy to answer either now or during the Q&A.
Thank you, Roxanne. Hello, everyone. I am Kristen Coleman from Novita Communications, and today I'll be presenting a case study for High Gloss on behalf of Ceramics of Italy. So as Elena mentioned, glossy tiles are definitely making a comeback. Because of their smooth surface, they're really easy to clean, which is why they've been a mainstay in both traditional and modern kitchens for years. In fact, when I came across this year's kitchen trend study from House, which also showed that ceramic tile was the #1 choice for both upgraded backsplashes as well as flooring, The first thing you see is a white glossy tile backsplash. And as you can see in this photo and in the project I'm showing today, glossy tiles are also excellent at reflecting light and making spaces appear brighter and bigger than they actually are. And before we dig into the case study, let's take a quick look at the process of creating a glossy finish, which some companies also call shiny or lucido. It's the surface obtained after firing and subjecting the tile to mechanical brushing and polishing with a series of abrasive tools with a decreasing grain. The final surface is soft, glossy, and reflective, and it varies slightly from a polished finish where after the firing, the pressed tiles go through an intense process of polishing with a smooth pad to create a high uniform luster. So the project we chose for the case study is the M+B residence by Bolivar Arquitectos. It's the residential winner of last year's Ceramics Ability tile competition and a fantastic case study for tile in general. We actually had to confirm with the architect that it was in fact a built project because the images looked like renderings. And the scale and form of the building just blew our mind. For some background on the project, the M+B residence embodies luxury to the max. Although it looks like a resort, it's actually a single family home nestled in a picturesque valley in one of the most exclusive gated communities in Monterrey, Mexico. The design by Bolivar Arquitectos is sleek and minimal, but clever contours and unexpected material choices make this single family home extraordinary. One of the most outstanding features is the facade, which is clad in almost 13,000 square feet of Italian porcelain tile. The tiles have a quartzite effect and what the architect called the most natural stone look he had ever seen. They use 5 different formats to achieve a jagged silhouette that mimics the topography of the surrounding mountains. The plot of land is situated alongside a golf course, so the architects developed a linear scheme to take advantage of the views of the mountains as well as the golf course. And matching tiles are carried through to the backyard terrace and pool area for a completely seamless and modern transition. In keeping with the muted monochromatic color palette, the architect used gray, marble, and stone effect Italian tile to cover the floors and walls throughout the interior spaces. As you can see from this image, the interior of the building is kind of cavernous, but the glossy finish of the floor tiles help reflect light coming in through the windows and distribute it throughout the space. The glossy finish combined with the marble effect creates a really elegant and natural look. And for high-end projects in Mexico, designers and their clients typically prefer to use natural stone, but the architect convinced his client to use Italian porcelain throughout the whole project since it's durable and easy to maintain, but just as beautiful as the real thing. Of course, caution should be used when selecting glossy tiles since they're liable to get scratched and lose their shine if used in very high foot traffic areas. But for this private residence, the glossy marble tiles only add to its luxe appeal. Thank you so much for your time today. Now I'm going to hand it over to Ryan Fasan.
And it looks like I've got it. So, speaking on behalf of Spain, and I've been asked to talk on the biophilia trend. I actually fought really hard to speak to this trend because growing up just north of the Pacific Northwest US in a temperate rainforest myself, you know, my connection to the natural environment is really, really strong. I grew up hunting and fishing and spending time outside, camping with my family. And, you know, this trend really speaks very strongly to me, but everybody today. And it's not just involved in architecture. We're finding this sort of reconnection to nature, biophilia itself, extremely important to us today, and sort of the definition of biophilia is the tendency for us to want to interact or be closely associated with nature, whether that's directly or indirectly. So whether it's suggestive or it's actually, you know, true raw connection, this is becoming so important to us because, you know, our lives are transitioning more and more to the digital space. And, you know, as that happens and we lose connection with our natural world, we find that we crave it. And so we're seeing this trend rise more and more in just about every area of our lives today. And in terms of tile, it's one of the trends that's speaking very, very strongly in our industry. So we're seeing a lot of things sort of building layers and layers of this biophilia sort of interaction in our tile designs. We're moving to a more sort of organic flow. We're looking for ebbs and flows of nature to kind of remove our fingerprints from industrial production. So we're creating these larger scales and different formats, and we're trying to take our human fingerprints away from them so that they feel more natural and more relatable to the users of the spaces we're creating. When we are reproducing something from nature, we're looking to create the most honest representation of it in its purest form. So it's not stained or worked or, you know, touched by human hands. It's as naturally raw as it possibly can be. And it's interesting, like we've created stuff in ceramics for literally our entire history. So that raw natural form of ceramic builds into a relatable context and conversation with the natural materials that we find ourselves favoring in design today. So these classic forms of ceramic like zalige and other forms that come from, you know, a century plus ago are growing very, very strongly because they fit so well in this biophilic trend. Because the spaces that we're creating today really do play a supporting role to the environment, the culture, and the history around them. They're not sort of being created to stand out. They're being created to blend in and operate in harmony with the surroundings. So the case study I want to talk about today is very different from the other ones. I really wanted to showcase the soul of ceramics, and I don't believe a project that I've seen recently does it better than Casa Ter in a little village in Catalonia, just outside of La Bisbal in northern Spain. So you can see where it is there, and the environment was so important to the studio that created this building, and all it is a simple vacation property for, again, a single family. But this building is not just steeped but saturated in the lifestyle, the foliage, the vegetation, and everything about it. So they wanted to create something very understated but highly functional and relatable. So they went with a bungalow that you know has that sense of comfortability and familiarity to all of us, and it's in harmony with this environment. And the basic thought process was starting with a concept of a simple terracotta vessel that's nurturing and holding life and giving, you know, a space for life to have in this terracotta vessel, and the whole space was designed around that. And they wanted to make it very, very relatable to the vegetation, the lifestyle, the people, and the topography of their surrounding environment in northern Spain there. So the design really brought into focus all of the surrounding environments and what impacted the lifestyle and culture throughout the history of this region. So they incorporated volumes that, like the Catalonian vault, that resembled the mountainside. They had relationship and openness to the fields around them, and a centralized water feature that recalled the sea as well. So you can see on the right there that simple open plan of a living space on the left-hand side, separated by a broad expanse of exterior courtyard where the flowing surface of the floor went right into the exterior courtyard, which could be opened or semi-closed down and operate as a multi-use space. And on the right, we've got our living quarters and food prep area and kitchen. Again, to keep it relatable and contextual with the culture and the environment, they went with very simple materials and practices that have been utilized for decades, if not centuries. And it's a simple concrete render that's structuralized by river stones from the local river. Cotto, traditional hand-formed terracotta, which the region La Bisbal historically was very well known for. And they use that on the floors and the walls and even in the different strata in between the layers of the concrete render. And then all the casings are just simple olive wood from the local orchards. This home was built as a transitional experience to offer a place in harmony with the environment and culture, so that you're never really inside or outside. You're always in transition between those two spaces, no matter what the season. It was built to blur the line between the inside and outside, and it did that by using locally available materials that are congruent and contextual with the landscape, with the environment, and with the culture around them. And that kind of holistic approach really is what I think showcases the biophilia trend. It's a sense of harmony with space and with nature and with the occupants. So that's why I picked Casa Terre from Studio Masura. It was also a Tile of Spain Award winner for 2021. And that is the end of me.
Thanks, Ryan and Kristen and Roxanne, for some really amazing and dynamic case studies. Such great stuff on a further in-depth look of the in-vein and the high gloss, and of course the biophilia tile trends. And now we're going to open it up to some Q&A. If you have any questions, of course, just go to the question drop down in the chat box. I'm going to read off a few, and any of the panelists, if you guys want to jump in, we have a couple already here in the queue. So I'm going to read it out. If anyone wants to speak to it, of course, jump in and add. So the first question comes to us with addressing concerns with lighting in relation to kitchen backsplashes, particularly the under cabinet lighting, I guess, because sometimes they can exaggerate unwanted variation in smaller ceramic and mosaic. So I guess just, is there any specific advice or anything that anyone might want to speak to on that? Do you guys as the panelists have anything to share? And I know also, sort of also to speak to the high shine trend, sometimes getting that placement of lighting for your under cabinet lighting is really crucial, because I think a lot of the times, especially with the LED strip lighting, if it's placed in not the optimal spot, you're getting a lot of unwanted reflection. So it's really about getting that proper placement. If anyone has anything else to add on that? Okay. So,
yeah, the one thing I would add is I think the trend and usage of LED undermount lighting and things like that is why we're seeing a shift to a more inline soldier course grid as opposed to a running bond or any kind of offset. When you're dealing with wash lighting, like an LED light strip and things like that, anytime you're doing that, restricting the amount of offset that you're working with will help in dealing with unwanted shadows in poor placements. So
that's great. Thanks, Ryan. So now we've got another question, and this one relates to, of course, one of our big trends, which is a XXL, the large format, utilizing porcelain slabs for countertops. So wanting to know about undermount sinks and sink applications with those. Does anyone want to jump in on that in terms of sinks? A lot of the times I'm seeing as a designer, sort of where people are wanting to do more of an integral sink with the material. Does anyone want to add anything more about sink usage with those as a countertop application?
I mean, just that I think some manufacturers offer prefabricated solutions. Otherwise, you know, I know that a lot of stone fabricators in particular are comfortable working with this material and can create a custom solution for any integral kind of components, whether it's like induction knobs or sinks or anything like that.
Thanks, Kristen. So we have another question on the XXL. So large format tile installation for residential, specifically bathroom shower applications, are there any caveats for that? I guess it's more of an installation type of question, but if anyone wants to speak to that, Ryan, do you have anything on that that you maybe could share?
Sorry, I was answering a written question. Can you repeat that for me?
No worries. So just wanted to, in terms of the large format stuff, for residential application on maybe a shower floor, specifically, bath and shower applications, floor or walls, are there any caveats? I mean, I've used it for walls, no problem in the shower. Floors, you definitely want to have something that's a little bit more slip resistant sometimes.
But yeah, I mean, that slip resistance is subjective to the client, right? So it totally depends on what the client's comfortable with. I know with the linear drains that a lot of the manufacturers are creating now, doing a single slope shower is feasible now, and a lot of building codes are coming sort of up to speed and being okay with that. I know, you know, back in the day, a lot of people that wanted to do a single slope shower, you know, would kind of fudge for their building inspections and they'd tile a curb and then put it in for the inspection and then yank it out. Thankfully, we're not having to do that as much in a lot of more progressive building codes being updated. I know that there's also, if slip resistance is an issue, there's also some post-installation treatments that can be done with some nano etching from some acidic compounds that can increase the slip resistance if that's something that a client is worried about. Other than that, I mean, it's just like any other large format tile. If you're keeping your perimeter joints and pre-planning for control joints properly, there's no reason why the larger formats can't be used. It's just dealing with all of that in advance so that your budget doesn't keep ratcheting up as you have to figure out fixes.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Ryan. And so we're having a lot of questions about these, the large format. One other question is, are these a competitor to solid surface counters? As someone who specifies a lot of countertops, of course, yes, I think it's something that's in the market that a lot of people are interested in. Do any of you want to speak to a little bit more of the usage of that and how it's becoming more and more popular?
I just want to add something to, it kind of applies to the previous question too. Just like there are installation specifications for smaller tiles, there are now installation ANSI specifications for the gauged porcelain panels and slabs. Those were published in January of this year. And it's the ANSI A137.3, I want to say, but
Yep.
Now the standards have kind of caught up to the sizes that are available as far as installation and material standards.
Thank you, Roxanne. Thanks for adding that. It's great information. And now another question we have here is, so with the current pandemic and of course everything going on with COVID, do any of you see the trend going for porcelain with advanced technologies to deal with bacteria and viruses on the surface? Of course, with tile having some great properties. Anyone want to talk more about that?
I mean, ceramics have been what we specify exclusively in operating rooms since we have had operating rooms pretty much. I mean, I know that we took we took our group when we went to Savisama last year, we took our group to a hospital that was built in 1890, and they actually still have some of their operating rooms in use, and they're all ceramics from back then. So, you know, the hygienic nature of ceramics has been well known for a very long time. The advanced coatings that are being done as catalytic compounds that are incorporated into the glaze certainly can enhance that. But I think, you know, anyone that's concerned with the ability to sanitize their surfacing, ceramics are any ceramics are a really good option to look at.
Yes, definitely a fantastic choice. As we mentioned also in the why tile messaging and all of that, always a great option. So we have another question. So, and this again, it refers back to the engaged porcelain panels and slabs. When you have the edges exposed, of course, perhaps they're saying in a shower niche or something like that, some options and ways to cover the cut edges on those for countertops actually as well, another option.
Well, there's actually a lot of manufacturers that have now developed through body vein technology, so it continues throughout the whole tile, so the edges match the body of the tile. So, you know, you won't have to worry about that for much longer.
Yeah, that's great,
And
especially
like
when
Kristen said, there's a lot of times you can get a pre-constructed form to put to tile around, or just opt to have the very thin edge visible. Mhm.
Yeah, generally the gauge porcelain panels are color body, and so the edge color is the median tone. Like if you did a Photoshop filter and blur for average, it'll be the median tone of what's on the graphic. So, you know, fabricating that edge is generally something a lot of people will do. It's also not very difficult to do a cross miter and laminate a piece to the edge, as long as you're okay with a square profiled edge. If you're, you know, fallen in love with a program that doesn't offer through body decoration, there's a lot of different options that are available.
that sounds great. There's more options, the better when it comes to that. It gives more design possibilities. And so we have another question about the gloss trend. You know, we've talked about high gloss. Someone's asking, do we see it being used more on floor or on walls or equally? I mean, we've seen a lot of beautiful photos throughout. Anyone want to give their opinion on gloss for either surface or universally, I think, just about anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of made, I mean, glossy tiles have been popular for a long time. On the opposite of that, I think matte surfaces have become popular as well. But I think, I mean, personally, I've noticed a lot of kind of total environment applications of it, which have been really interesting because it accentuates the architectural features. It can make color really kind of shine. So yeah, so I guess we'll just have to kind of see. I mean, every project, you know, need is different, but.
Yeah, the application of gloss on floors tends to be directly correlated to the litigiousness of the culture. Like if the owner of a building can get sued because someone slips and falls, glossy floors tend to go down. And you know, so it's like in Europe and in Asia, we see a lot more glossy floors than we do here in the US. That being said, I think that there's a lot of, you know, Lapato surfaces now that can actually achieve, you know, DCOF standards, that you can get a semi-gloss, and so there are options that are being created if you want that high gloss look, but still want to, you know, cover your bases. So.
Again, a lot of good options everywhere in between based on what you're specifying for and the type of project and usage, of course. So that was a bulk of a lot of the questions. I think we even answered some of them in our just a commentary and answers to that, some additional questions. But I want to thank everyone and for joining us, and to our great panelists, and look forward to seeing everyone soon for Coverings 2021.
That's right. Thank you so much, Elena.
Thanks, Elena.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. It was a
Right.
fantastic panel. It was a great in-depth look at tile trends. If you did have a question or you submit a question now that we haven't gotten to, I will share them with the panel and they can get back to you. Once you leave the webinar, you'll receive a survey on the presentation. We'd appreciate it if you complete it and provide your feedback. And we also hope you enjoy the rest of the day's events. Join us for our next webinar. Check out Coverings Connected on our website and all the great on-demand content from our partners. And we will see you for our next Coverings Connected, April 28th, and then in person in Orlando, July 7th through 9th. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.